welcome to a build challenge. So I wanted to do something different on my channel, so I put out a poll on my community tab to see what you guys would want to see, and this is the result. Even though I'm sure you can see by the title of this video what the winner was, because we are doing a budget challenge. So I figured doing something like a starter home would be a little bit too easy because I've done that quite a few times on this channel. So I wanted to really limit myself. So we're doing a 10K simoleon challenge. I'm really excited to see what I come up with. But before I start building, I am way too indecisive to just jump in and build anything. So I'm going to use a randomizer to kind of give me some direction in what I'm going to end up building today. So let's go ahead over and do that. So let's go ahead and spin the wheel and see what I'm going to build today. It looks like it's going to be the lake house, and it is. Okay, so let's get into building. So the first thing I want to do is raise up the terrain. I think it would be cool to see the stilts from the water. So now the terrain looks a little something like this. I'm going to get the outline of the build kind of figured out. Okay, so now I want to just smooth it out. And then I'll fill it in with some water. All right, and let's put some water in. Okay, that looks pretty good to me. I don't like how straight this is, so I'm gonna go kind of make it jagged again. And then we'll move on to getting on some wallpaper on the build itself. Okay, so I went with the wallpaper from Seasons and this new base game flooring. And now I'm going to add a couple doors and windows, and hopefully we'll see this thing start to take shape. So I'm going to use this door from Seasons for the front door. This door from Eco Lifestyle. I feel like it's going to really fill in that space while still keeping it very cheap. And some snowy escape windows for the rest of the build. And before I get too far into the build, I want to go ahead and get the layout figured out. So I think I'm gonna do something like this: bedroom, bathroom, pretty easy. Yeah, that looks good to me. So I'll move around those windows and then we'll start doing some landscaping. So I want this to be a pretty foresty build, so I'm going to use a lot from werewolves. I'm also building in Moonwood Mill, so I think it will really make it sit into the world nicely. So you can see I've placed quite a few trees. I'm going to go ahead and go in with this bush from Cottage Living to kind of fill in the forest floor a little bit. And just to blend things into the world even more, let's add some rocks from werewolves. And I want to add in a few more details with these plants from werewolves. I just think they really make it look extra foresty. And of course we have to add in a few mushrooms from Cottage Living just to give it, again, more of a foresty vibe. And of course we have to add in this little stump. Again, just making this look as foresty and kind of overgrown as possible. And lastly, I want to put a couple ferns around. Let's see, maybe one there and one over here, one here. Okay, so now I'm going to take this rock from werewolves, and I don't really like the color that the terrain is, so I'm going to attempt to cover it all up with this rock. So I'm going to be using a lot of the tool mod, and this might take a little bit of time, so I'll see you when it's finished. So now you can see with the rocks, it just has kind of a different look and feel to it, and I really like that. I obviously wasn't able to cover it all up, but I think it's looking really nice. So now what I need to do is start the landscaping in on the pond. So I'm definitely going to take a bunch of cattails, and we'll see what else I end up finding to kind of fill this in just a bit and make it look even more realistic. Okay, so now with some of the landscaping around the pond finished, all we need is some terrain paint. So I'm going to go for this terrain paint and just bring it right down. I think that is good. I'm just going to fill it in just a little more. So one thing I didn't mention is I am going for a tiny house, and I figured it would be the best way to go just because walls cost simoleons, and so keeping it smaller makes it cheaper. Okay, so I went into Live Edit and found these planters from high school years, so I thought these would be perfect to kind of fill in this slightly awkward space that we have going on the sides of the house, or on the sides of the front door. So let's add those in, and then we'll grab some plants that will hopefully kind of fill this out. So I actually already have plants in mind, so I think let's just use white, and I think that should look good. So let's grab some outdoor lighting so that you can actually see out here, and I think this one should be fine just on this wall. And we'll use this cheap one from Base Game. And this might have to be deleted, but I really want to add in some skill building items, so I'm going to add in this easel here. But now let's move on to the interior. So let's grab some lights so we can see what we're doing and choose some wallpaper. So for the wallpaper, I want it to be pretty simple. So maybe just for now, I'm going to stick with something really cheap like this wallpaper from Eco Lifestyle. Okay, to start us off, I'm going to start in the kitchen, and I think to kind of match in with the bright white of the windows, I'm going to use this white countertop from Base Game. And let's add in a fridge, again from Base Game. And I'm going to scoot these over just a little bit, and adding in a stove. Okay, so I want to separate off this area, so I'm going to add in this shelf from Eco Lifestyle. And then I want to add in a desk. And this table is actually cheaper than the desk that looks just like it, so we're going to use that instead. And adding in this, oh, not that one, this chair from high school years. And lastly, we need a computer. So I really, really want to try to get a computer in this build. I don't know if it's going to be possible, as well as this rug from Nifty Knitting, which is 0 simoleons. So now let's start in the bedroom, and I want to add some curtains in. These from Eco Lifestyle are perfect. And I like this bed from City Living. These side tables from high school years I think go really well with the look of this room. And I really want to use this rug from City Living, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to keep it, but let's go ahead and size it up. And that's a little too big, so let's go ahead and go for 1.3. There we go, that's better. We'll just slide that in. That looks great. And I'm going to use this dresser from Dream Home Decorator. I think that's going to look really nice, but also be very nice for our budget because it is only 240 simoleons. Pretty great. And then, of course, there's a perfect amount of space to add in a mirror, so we'll just add in a mirror there. And I might get a little crazy and add in this tapestry from high school years as well. So there actually is a lot of space in this bathroom, but I'm going to do my best to fill it in. So let's grab a sink from Cottage Living. I think that'll look nice. Let's see, maybe we could put the sink here. And then the toilet over here. And that should do it. Let's put in a rug, and let's use green like we did in the bedroom. Okay, and so now we can do some decorating. I'm gonna pull some things out and see what we can do with this 800 simoleons we have left. Okay, so with 8 simoleons left, I was able to get quite a few decor items, so let's start in the kitchen. And so I went with some paranormal plates. as well as grabbing out, of course, a debug item made of clay. They make perfect decor items when you don't have a lot of simoleons. This glass is from Eco Lifestyle Debug, and it's actually a kombucha glass, so I like to use it to fill in the space. Okay, so we got a little clutter on the kitchen shelf, and I think that looks good. Now let's move on to the desk area. I definitely think we need some light, and I think I want to put the pothos here, but I might move it around, and then a little plant right there will look nice. And I do, of course, want to add in some books, so I'm just going to add this to the shelf. It's kind of hanging over there, which is a little weird. So I might actually bring it down to the bottom shelf so it isn't hanging off, because that's weird. Let's adjust this a bit with the tool mod. Perfect. Let's move on to the TV area. So I don't have a lot for here, but I figured I'd add a plant, and I'm hoping to find some gallery art that I can put up here because it is a little plain at the moment, and we can actually add on this little bowl. I think that'll look nice. Oops, not the rug. There we go, that looks nice. And now moving on to the table, gonna add in this nice vase from Paranormal Stuff. Now moving on to the bedroom, I grabbed a few things from Debug. So let's move this in from Debug, and I figured a log just kind of works in with it being in the forest. And then let's move the eyeshadow and eyeliner next to each other. And that just adds a few things into the bedroom. I think that looks nice. Let's move on to the bathroom, and I think I'm gonna put the towel here, and we're gonna size it up, not that big though. This is why we love the tool mod. 1.5. There we go, that looks better. And let's add in this toilet paper roll. And the pampas grass will look really nice here, I think. And last but not least, we have this plant, which I think will go perfectly right there. That is our build. I'm gonna work on changing a few wallpapers, and I'll come back to you to show you the final house. Okay, so this is the finished house. So you can see we have the picnic table and the painting easel on the outside. And now let's move on to the inside. So coming into the build, you're right at the dining table, and then we have the living room and the kitchen. And moving on over, we have the little computer nook. And through here, we have the bedroom. Very simple. And then our bathroom, which the mirror needs to be fixed. And that's the build. So thank you for joining me in this journey of building this 10K simoleon house. I had so much fun building it, and I love how it turned out. I just want to thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video and supporting my little channel here on YouTube. But let's get into the final shots, and I'll see you next time. Bye!